Hey guys, be here with our next First for Friday. Today we are reading the first 4 pages of This Is My Brain in Love by I.W. Gregorio. So, first I'm going to give you a description of this book, and then we're going to jump right in the first 4 pages of this book. So, told in dual narrative, This Is My Brain in Love is a stunning YA contemporary romance, exploring mental health, race, and ultimately self-acceptance, for fans of I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter and Emergency Contact. Jocelyn Wu has just 3 wishes for her junior year: to make it through without dying of boredom, to direct a short film with her BFF Priya Venkatram, and to get at least 2 months into the year without being compared to or confused with Peggy Chang, the only other Chinese girl in her grade. Will has 2 goals: to find a paying summer internship and to prove he has what it takes to become an editor on his school paper. Then, Jocelyn's father tells her that the family restaurant may be going under and all wishes are off. Because her dad has the marketing skills of a dumpling, it's up to Jocelyn and her unlikely new employee, Will, to bring A-plus Chinese garden into the 21st century, or at least to Facebook. What starts off as a rocky partnership soon grows into something more, but family prejudices and the uncertain future of A-plus threaten to keep Will and Jocelyn apart. It will take everything they have and more to save the family restaurant and their budding romance. All right, so here are the first 4 pages. As soon as I find it. 1 second. There we go. Okay, prologue. This is mostly a happy story. It's important for you to know this because if there's anything I hate the most, it's a book that makes your emotions feel like a child's overloved comfort toy being flung around in a washing machine. The ones where it seems like the story's all beautiful and nothing hurts until someone kicks the bucket at the end, tearing a hole in your belly and removing organs that you didn't know existed. I'd rather know ahead of time whether to bring tissues. It's just better for your heart, you know? I say this to you because I want you to be reassured. I want you to know so when the story ends with me staring at a pill bottle, wrestling with what to do with it, you're prepared. It'll all be okay, I promise. This is my brain on bankruptcy. Jocelyn. Irony. The year I decide that Central New York isn't a total dump after all, my dad finally admits that it was a mistake to move here. It's one of the rare days that my whole family gets to spend together. Usually my parents trade off running the register downstairs in the restaurant because they're incapable of trusting anyone else to do it. But when our water main breaks in the middle of the lunch rush, we can't get a plumber to come in until dinner time. My brother and I greet the news like it's a snow day. Family meal. Amma, our grandma, won't be doing prep work, so she can help Alan with his algebra. We won't need to help with cleanup after we finished our homework, so maybe I'll finally have time to work on the screenplay I'm writing with Priya. The excitement dims pretty quickly, though, when I see that my mom's almost at the point of tears when she writes the "close for repair" sign that I edit to read "closed for repairs." I start to get really worried when I watch my dad pour Pepto-Bismol for his dinner instead of his usual chrysanthemum tea. So I pay more attention than usual to the heated conversation my parents have in their bedroom. I basically speak Mandarin at the 3rd grade level, never really having applied myself at the Mohawk Valley Chinese Association's weekly language school, but even I can pick out the words expensive and no money and back to New York City. After a long phone call, my dad finally sits down at the dinner table. It's littered with the usual hodgepodge of microwaved kitchen leftovers. The mushu pork looks particularly deflated. My mom looks at him expectantly, almost hopefully. He nods and looks at the rest of us. Amma and I look at him, but my brother is too busy stuffing his face with day-old egg roll to actually notice that my dad has joined us. Alan, my dad says sharply. He waits for Alan's 5-second attention span to focus before he says, "Second uncle says manager at Queen's branch of his restaurant go back to China. Maybe time to go back to the city." The silence after his announcement is suffocating, like someone's hoovered away all the life in the room. Living over a restaurant, you get used to a constant soundtrack of activity underlying your life. There's always the sound of chopping or the clank of a wok banging against a stove, or someone shouting or cursing in Chinese. My Amma is the first one to make a sound. It's a soft, non-committal hum. 2 notes, questioning, neither approving nor disapproving. Alan, still chewing, manages only a shrug and a huh, which makes no sense because he's the only one who's spent the majority of his life here. So, it's up to me to say loudly, no, because we can't move. Not now, after I've found an actual bubble tea place in this godforsaken backwater. Not now, when I've finally got a chance to take a film class at the local college. Not now, when I've painstakingly identified a group of people I can tolerate as friends, and even found a best friend. My mom's looking down at her hands, and my dad's glaring at me, so I elaborate. Dad, please say you're kidding. I've literally spent the last 6 years of my life complaining about moving to central New York, and now you want to give up the restaurant? My dad bristles at his tone. I swear there are actual hairs at the crown of his head that stick up when he's agitated. Alan's eyes dart back and forth between my dad and me. With his cheeks still full of food, he looks like a squirrel watching a tennis match. I back down and try a different tack. But what about the schools? They're amazing. You know I'm already set up to take a college class in the fall, and the restaurant has a following now. Not a big one, but there are definitely regulars. What if Alan takes over my deliveries so I can work the counter more and we start a Facebook account or something for free advertising? Check-ins, it's a thing. Why are you only thinking of this now? Dad asks. You have been working at restaurant for forever and never do no thing. The worry lines on his forehead have morphed from frustration into suspicion. It's a subtle shift, but a familiar one. I don't say, because the place sucks the soul out of the living. Instead, I say, I didn't realize how desperate things were. I thought we were doing okay. Looking back, I can see the signs. When Mr. Chen went back to be with his family, we never replaced him. My mom worked double shifts instead, and my dad started to do his accounting and ordering at the restaurant so he could lend a hand when things got busy. Suddenly, a lot of little things make sense. Why my mom would scold me when I'd leave the light on after leaving a room. Why Alan couldn't go on his 6th grade field trip to Great Adventure. Why they canceled our Netflix subscription so I had to borrow Priya's login information to feed my prestige TV and film addiction. Has this been going on for years? I asked my dad, horrified. He bowed his head, and his silence are my answer. A few years ago, there was a 5.0 earthquake on the East Coast, with its epicenter in northeastern Pennsylvania. It was a pretty big deal and caused some minor property damage. Coming from the West Coast, of course, Priya rolled her eyes and sent out a meme about lawn chairs being knocked over. I'll never forget how my body felt in that brief moment of shift. Paralyzed, yet at the same time pushed by an outside force terrifyingly beyond my control. I feel the same sensation right now, and I think this is it. This is the nothing is the same anymore trope. When I started hanging out with Priya and really started getting into film, not just watching movies, but analyzing them. It was kind of a buzzkill to realize that so many of the movies that gave me joy as a kid were actually pretty formulaic. And that, dear readers, is the first 4 pages of This Is My Brain in Love by I.W. Gregorio. This book is available now at the library for you to pick up and read, and so come in and get it today. Until next Friday, be safe, be kind, wash your hands, and we will see you then. Take care.